Good afternoon. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you tuned into every Saturday afternoon. I'm Elsa McGee, your host, and we are here today doing the same thing we've been doing ever since we started the show, trying to make sense out of a senseless situation called the plight of veterans in the USA and the USA with the plight of veterans. I'm here today by myself, not by myself, but on deck, on the desk by myself, because my cohort and partner in crime is traveling this weekend. Tony, we salute you, brother, and Treese, we looking for you to come up. We're gonna have some fresh faces coming 2023, which is a little bit off. But today, we just want to kind of cap what we've been doing for the past year here with Vietnam Veterans of America, who is the sponsor and the owner of Veterans Talk. This is our official media voice. We talk about everything that's veteran and community, but primarily we're pushing our programs. What we are a VSO, Veteran Service Organization, been in Atlanta since 2021, and we have focused on bringing the benefits home. That's basically what we do. Help veterans get the benefits that they've earned from their honorable military service. Now, what are those benefits? It's a whole package that's designed for the veteran, his family, and the community. Now, once that veteran and the community and the family get these benefits, it will change the economic landscape of their lives. Listen to me, audience today, veterans, dependents, friends, Facebook friends, YouTube, all of the listening audience. We want to talk about veteran benefits and how this element, this demographic in your community is an asset. Your veteran is an asset. This is the individuals, ladies and gentlemen, that go off and serve in the U.S. military, whether it's during a peacetime or wartime. They make a sacrifice for the freedom, to guard the freedoms that we have under the Constitution and laws of this country. So I want to shout out right now to all 6 branches. It used to be 5 branches when we first started, but we got the Space Force now, but we got all of the 5, 6 branches of the military service. I want to shout out to the young people that's serving and say Merry Christmas. And I know what it means. I actually know what it means. In 1967, on Thanksgiving Day, I left home after celebrating Thanksgiving with my family and went to Vietnam. Served in Vietnam for a year, wounded in combat, came back home in December of 1968 after one of the heaviest years of that war, which claimed the lives of 58,000 of my peers, Americans, that died in Vietnam. We don't want to ever have another war that does that. So VSOs are those organizations in our community, like Vietnam Veterans of America, American Legion, DAV, Wounded Warriors. All these organizations are chartered by Congress to assist veterans and the VA with delivering these benefits to those that earned them. Now, we have seen the changes in the VA over the years. I've been doing claims since 1975, so I'm one of the senior members of the community right now that can, give you the benefit of my experience and what I've learned over the years in dealing with veterans' claims and benefits at the VA all across this country. It has become easier with technology. We're hooked together by online activities now. So VA, like every other major government agency, is gone online. That was probably motivated more by the COVID attack, and I call it an attack because it was a war that we fought well. We fought it well, and we right now at the end, I think, of the critical parts of that war. But it's still, the enemy is still among us. So we have to be vigilant, watch over the stuff, especially now during the cold season, and I'm a cold-natured man. The flu and the COVID virus are kin, folks, and they tend to hang out together. So we want to be careful while you're gathering with family and friends over the holiday season to protect yourself. Make sure you got your vaccine. Make sure you're vaccinated. Ain't no bunch of people died from the vaccine. A bunch of people, over 1 million Americans died from COVID. My chapter, under the Sons of Atlanta project, we declared that the COVID virus attack was a war. And we went to work like soldiers to fight that war by giving out masks in the community and making sure that we had information out to the community. We can work with Fulton County. I want to shout out for Fulton County and all that they do, and the city of Atlanta, that gave us masks to pass out in the community to make sure that people understood that we could defend ourselves against the COVID virus, and we still can. We did a great job. Now, talking about the benefits that veterans earn from their military service. One of the basic benefits, and I can say, I talked with Jose Williams about this, and also Charles Rangel. Both of them were Purple Heart recipients and well-known veterans in the United States. Both of them was community leaders and politicians. While Charles Rangel was a congressman, and Jose Williams was a state representative and city councilman and a bunch of other stuff in the Atlanta community that were veterans and used their benefits, the educational benefits. Charles Rangel told me one time when I was visiting Washington, had it not been for his VA benefits, he would not have been in Congress. So these benefits are designed to enhance our predicaments in the society from which we serve and in the communities from which we come. When we don't get these benefits, you see homelessness among veterans and their families in the community. That is the plight of veterans in the USA, not just in Atlanta area, which we, in a given day right now, you got over 2,500 veterans homeless in the city of Atlanta, Metro Atlanta. And the VA report that in a given day, over 250,000 veterans are homeless in the United States. We should be ashamed. This nation should be ashamed. We're in the holiday season. We're watching the economy that we have work in this country, one of the greatest economies on planet Earth. That's why you have all these foreign nationals trying to get into the bank accounts of Americans. We have allowed government regulations and those people that we elect. This is why the vote is so critical to us, and we need to start planning for the next vote in 2023 and directing our attention to those politicians that will do what we need done under the Constitution and laws of this country for all of the people, to make sure that 2% of the population shouldn't be owning and controlling 90% of the wealth in the community. That is so lopsided that is causing havoc in major portions of our cities throughout this country. And we need to just face the fact that's the problem. Crime is not something that don't have consequences. And it comes from somewhere. It comes from lack. You have created a lack in our communities throughout the country where lack is so deep, crime is the way that the people see with getting survival stuff that they feel. And some of it is not survival stuff, it's convenient stuff that the marketers have made us feel like we need, we got to have. So we need to think about that during these holiday seasons. Why are we so caught up on giving stuff, giving things, when they don't last a year? Most of the things that we give our children today will not last until next Christmas. So we want to caution people about buying. Now, one of the reasons I'm saying that, because most of our goods and service, goods I'm going to say right now, that we're buying from during the Christmas holidays coming from another country. What does that do for our economy? Well, it empowers that 2%ers to keep most of the wealth. See, what has happened, this country was established on, the economy was established on small businesses, individual businesses. Then, we had the economic revolution, and especially came during in the 60s, really started during the 60s, and it developed to the point that we have multinational corporations consuming businesses in our country. I can remember when we had corner grocery stores. Those no longer exist in our communities. I can remember when we had service stations that was ran by people in the community. That no longer exists. These are economic changes in the structure of our community that has taken away a lot of the economics out of the community and put it in the hands and the control of people that don't even live in the community where they're doing business. That's a problem. That's a major problem because it undermines the economy of those communities. And we need to think about it. You know, we have given over to global economics. For what? For the profits of multinational corporations. Multinational corporations which are normally controlled right now by dictator governments. In Saudi Arabia, China, and Russia are the biggest investors in American business community today. I'm not talking about stuff you can't bet. Bet me out. Call in right now if you want to, dispute me and talk about it. Talk about what we're talking about. You can call in at 470-251-4647. And let's talk about it. It's Veterans Talk. We're veterans talking to veterans and the community about all things veterans. And we're talking about Vietnam Veterans of America right now and what we do. You know, we have a bunch of different programs. One of our major programs, and we want you to participate in that, is the Sons of Atlanta Vietnam War Memorial. We want you to go today, right now, to www.sonsofatlanta and say Merry Christmas to the veteran or veterans in your life by giving the gift that lasts forever. A Sons of Atlanta Memorial commemorative brick where their names will be engraved in Atlanta Historic Piedmont Park forever. You can't beat that. You just can't beat that. To give a veteran in your life a gift that will last forever. Give them a brick. Let that name, let that memorialize them in Piedmont Park. That means that gift will be there long after they're gone so that people will value them the way you value them. Go to www.sonsofatlanta.org and say Merry Christmas to the veteran or veterans in your lives by giving the gift that lasts forever, a commemorative brick. Okay, now we want you to also know that we have a program also going Veterans in Service to the USA. This program actually is directed to the businesses in our community. Any business that has 5 or more W-2 employees, this is a program that's being worked right now through the IRS. This is IRS stuff. This is a tax rebate for businesses that have 5 or more employees and that was in business during 2021, during the height of the COVID virus. And even if you got the PPP, you can still get this tax refund, which is up to $10,000 per W-2 employee. Up to $10,000 up for every W-2 employee. Now, this is for small businesses, not for the big multinational corporations. It's for small business, the mom and pop businesses in the community that got 5 or more W-2 employees. We're talking about funeral homes, restaurants, barbershops, any business, even nonprofit businesses like churches have nonprofit operations where they have employees. All of them are eligible for these tax refunds. This is the season for you to start looking at your taxes. So right now the IRS, through Veterans in Service to the USA, gonna give you some money back. I mean, like $10,000 per employee. This is going to the businesses now. So we want you to know that. We want you to know that. If you got any question about that, just call us at 770-895-3260, and we'll get you signed up. The other business that we have now, we just starting the Art Job Service, Veteran Art Job Service back, and we want you to call in for that. We're providing car care. In other words, we have some young people now that's in the community, this is providing job, will actually come to your house and wash your car twice a month for $60 a month. This is a subscription. Yard care. We got young people now. We're gonna give young people some work to do, some positive things in the community. We want you to call us and we'll get your yard cut. Just the grass mowed, the leaves blowed for $80 a month. And that will take care of your yard for every month. Now you can't have one of these huge yards. You got to have a yard about the size of mine. It ain't all that big. But anyway, yard care. And demolition and cleanup. We want all this construction that's going on in Atlanta. We want these construction sites to hire young people. They give them some work after school, give them some things to do. That's positive, that they will be able to earn income and not just have people thinking that they can get fast money, which usually lead up to people breaking in folks' cars and burglarizing folks' homes and all the little petty crimes that we say. We can knock that out by let Veterinary Job Service do the stuff around your house and in your business that you need. Demolition cleanups, moving and transportation. If you're moving and need somebody to help you to move, give us a call. If you need something picked up and delivered to a business site or to your home, give us a call. Turnkey work. We got a lot of companies out here, management companies, that need turnkey work. And then you got people that need a home cleaning, personal home cleaning. Give us a call. We will make it happen. And we're using young people that's mentored and managed by veterans to make sure that they are doing the work and doing it right. And we just want to get them something positive to do. So we want you to call us about that. And now we're also doing community service. We're doing community service. If you are interested in doing some volunteer work with Vietnam Veterans of America, you can call us. You can come to our field office located at 3707 Main Street in College Park, Georgia. 3707 Main Street, College Park. If you are, you can just call me 770-895-3260. Anything about veterans in service to the USA or veteran odd job service, or you just want to volunteer and do some of the things that help us do some of the things in the community that we do to make the community a better place for everybody. Today, this is Veterans Talk. Thank you for that. Now we want to get back down to talking about some things that we need to really talk about. The benefit package. We are watching the VA struggle. We're watching the VA struggle now with providing those benefits, delivering those benefits to veterans that have earned them. The PAC Act has did nothing but complicate the system. They've been doing a great job in moving forward. They're online with you can file benefits online. But it's bad when you're filing a benefit and you don't know what you're doing. It complicates the system and it slows the system down. So we are always encouraging people to use the online portal to file their benefits, but consult with a veteran service organization before you do that. Make sure that you are prepared to file a claim, having all of the three elements, and we talked about the elements of a claim last week. If you have any problem with that, just call a VSO. They will help you understand the three elements of a claim that you got to get right before you file it, and then they will show you how to develop the evidence to support the claims that you are filing. That makes it easier for a VA to approve your claim. So you're working to help VA get the benefits to you that you deserve. But you have to put some work in. And that work starts with you calling a VSO, American Legion, DAV, Wounded Warriors, Vietnam Veterans of America, and we will help you without any cost to you up front. We don't have any cost to you up front. Now, naturally, we're nonprofits and we live off of donations, so we expect people that we help to donate after they get their benefits so that we can help other veterans and other dependents get the benefits in the community. But we need people to understand the benefit process and why it's so important that you work it. These are assets for you, for the veteran, for his family, and the community. Now think about it. If a veteran get educated that means that he's going to be, she's going to be better able to earn a higher income. Now, we talk about the 2%ers, and we'll get back to that, but it's necessary that you understand these benefits are a stepping stone to a better life in America. You know, we have to realize that we are a growing multicultural democracy and society. And there are forces that are developing within this multicultural democracy, multicultural, multiracial democracy, that don't want to see the integration that's taking place and that's developing this country. Because why? Because it takes the power away from the 2%ers. Just pure and simple. Those are the only people that benefit from the division that we see taking place in American politics today. Those are the only people that really benefit. The rest of us are going to suffer. Our democracy is going to suffer because we have allowed people to come into our communities, into our country, and not abide by the laws and principles that this country is established on, and we hesitate to check them. You know, sometimes you just have to tell people when you're not going to go for certain stuff. And Dr. King showed us how to do that real successfully. Don't participate with them. Don't cooperate with it. You know, just back out. You know, if you don't spend your money on the bus that don't want to sit you up front, watch the bus go out of business. That we can do without the violence, without the chaos that we're having in our community today. If we want the gun violence to stop in our community, we got to stop the gun manufacturers and the gun promoters from selling it in our community. And we got to have those that are able to buy those guns be responsible gun owners. You know, you cannot leave your gun where somebody breaking in your car gonna get the gun out of the glove compartment. You cannot do that anymore. You know that's a problem. We got to latch them guns down inside the car when you leave them in the car. Period. You got to fix it in your home where your child can't get to the gun and accidentally kill itself or somebody, another child. We need responsible gun owners first, responsible gun owners, and most people are responsible gun owners. We just need to talk to them about how to become safety responsible gun owners. We need to, and especially veterans need to talk about this. I was in combat in Vietnam, so I know what an automatic weapon is designed to do. It's designed for war. And that's what we have allowed the gun owners to create in our community, especially putting our police officers up against these automatic weapons. And then we don't want to pay them right. Oh, then we want to if they're guarding the Capitol, then we don't even want to talk about when they're injured or when they are killed in defense of violence, in our country. We need to get back on path with telling the truth to each other, being able to look each other in the eye and just be straight up truthful. Listen, this is enough for everybody. But when you got a few controlling the most, then that means that you are squeezing those people into economic lack and poverty, which they're going to do whatever they got to do to survive. You pushing them to that point. We need to understand how this country works. We need to understand how the laws work. Right now, we need to be working and planning for our next vote. We just got out of an election that was so divisive and so scary to me that I thought we was going to elect a celebrity over competence. And that's really scary. To select somebody that's popular because of their talent, God-given talent, over somebody that is trained and operating as a community servant and politician is scary. And that almost happened here right in the state of Georgia. I think most voters like me loved Herschel Walker, and I'm just going to call it out. Love Herschel Walker. Respect Herschel Walker. But Herschel Walker, to represent me in the U.S. Senate with all that's going on in the world today, would be to weaken our government. It would be to weaken our government and the growth in this multicultural society, because he is being used by multinational forces that he ain't even grasping, because he think that his friendship to election denier and an insurrectionist is more meaningful to him than standing up telling the truth. So we passed all that. We got past that. People came out and they dealt with that, and I'm so glad about that. I'm proud of my hometown. I'm proud of my state. I'm proud of my country. But we need to get ready for the next vote, especially here in Georgia, in my home state. We got problems. You know, we got politicians that throwing rocks and hiding their hands. You know, they're not representing all of the community development. They got a base that they want to play to. That's not the way our government was meant to operate. You know, yeah, we went through this period with state rights, but we know that the U.S. Constitution is supreme to state laws. So why are we have allowed a Supreme Court to develop? We allowed the Supreme Court to develop the way it is now, where it knocked out 50 years of freedom for women in this country. Over 50 years. Now, we know that people of color and women did not have the right to vote in this country until about less than 100 years ago. They didn't even have the right to vote. You got people that want to take it back to that stage because they don't want you to vote. They don't want you to have a decision in the way you live every day. And that's what's causing all of the problems in it, because they have moved away from people power, we the people. They don't even listen. You know, after an election, most of the politicians, you can't even get a meeting with them to sit down and talk about what issues that are important to you and your community. That's what politics is supposed to be like. We got to stop letting the media elect those who represent us. Because what we almost got in the state of Georgia after such a historical 2020 election, where we got the first African-American senator, the first Jewish senator in the state's history after Reconstruction. Let me say that, because we had to go back and look at what happened during that time period and what they're trying to do now with us. And we got to stop allowing people to make us afraid of each other. See, I learned when I left home in 1967, in May of 1967, May the 9th to be most specific, going through Ponce de Leon's Center, where I came out of the West Side, Washington High School, was totally segregated. I had never lived up under the roof with any race but mine. No diversity in my life whatsoever. The minute I got to vote, Benton, Georgia, I was in the barracks. I had to live with people of different races and different colors. They didn't give us no pre-training. They didn't even give us no pre-speech about this is what was going on. They just assigned us to a barrack and to a bunk. And you looked down or you looked up and you saw somebody that didn't even look like you. But you had to live with them. You had to learn that. You had to learn with them. You had to learn them and let them learn you. And I'm going to say this. We created bonds during that period, even though it was so segregated and such a disturbing period in our history. But the soldiers, I made bonds with people that I didn't know before I went into the military. That's my brothers for life. I love them because of who they are and what I learned about them during that time period. And we have kept our bond. for life. The problem was we didn't take it back home. we didn't take that bonding back into our community. We allowed ourselves to go back into these segregated bonded communities and not talk about our integrated experience. But it didn't die. It lived in the U.S. military. The U.S. military was only integrated fully integrated in 1954. It was Truman's executive order to desegregate the military issued in 1948. I was 1 year old when he did that. It took them, because of the racism and the politics, it took them from 1948 to 1954 to fully integrate the U.S. military. When I say fully integrated, the last so-called colored unit was deactivated in 1954, making the U.S. military fully integrated going into the Vietnam War. It was an ugly war. It was a war that we didn't know how to fight. But you 21-year-old, 18-year-olds, you know, the youngest war we ever fought, too. I want people to look at that. See, Korea and World War I, World War II, it was fought with guys that was in their 20s and older. No 18-year-olds, well, maybe a few got in, but primarily they were fighting with people that was 21 years old or older. But in Vietnam, you had some people on that wall, 58,000, that never made it to be 21 years old, and some of them was as young as 18. We got to look at our politics. You know, we got to learn from which we come. And we come a long ways in this country. A long, long ways that we should be proud of, considering the situation that we were dealing with. Now we got to a point where it's becoming a multinational, multicultural society where it's integration well, not everywhere. You got some communities that still fight the reality of God. You know, that they gonna have to deal with that. But the rest of us need to keep on growing, keep on going, keep on doing the things that we know that have made life better. I know my life is better from my military service. Even though I suffer severe PTSD, I got hard conditions from exposure to Agent Orange, my life has been better because my society, my community has been better. You know what we didn't do though, we didn't understand land ownership. We didn't understand the economy. I bought my first house in 1966, my first house, in Adamsville on Whitworth Drive, 294 Whitworth Drive, for $13,000, brand new house, 3-bedroom house. Brand new, nobody had ever lived in it but me, but $13,800. The same house today, they want $210,000 for it. They ain't putting another room on it. They ain't putting up, they might have changed the roof a couple times, but the house is still there. Matter of fact, it just got older. But the economy that's directing the inflation, now that's real inflation. If you talk about inflation from 13,000 to 210,000, and ain't nothing been done to the house that changed the structure, the size, or the livability of the house itself. We got to be careful who we elect to government. We have to be careful who we elect. But we need to get a greater understanding of the government and how it's functioning. This democracy is an attraction to people that love freedom all over the world because it's the best at it. You know, you've seen revolutions in different countries, back and forth. You got, we just watched the stuff in Afghanistan and the Taliban. You know, we watched the stuff in Vietnam with the Armies and the NBA. It's going on right now in countries all around the world, people fighting for freedom. And some of those people are coming here. We call immigrants. This is a country of immigrants. I think probably other than black people, all of us immigrated here. Everybody immigrated here, besides the Native Americans. Black people came in slave ships. Now, some of us came in other ways, but most are slave ships. We need to just accept that reality. But how can we not understand we came as slaves, but we just had a president? We got so much to be thankful for. We got so much that we can be proud of, but we have allowed forces to come in and keep us looking at the downside of it all and not looking at the upside of what we got in America. The changes that we have been able to institute in the world is what's causing all of these multinational corporations to come into this country and buy our business. We got plenty of oil and gas here, but it's cheaper to go get it from somewhere else. Why do we let that happen? Politicians. Convenience. We got snowed. We need to wake up, get our heads out the sand, see what we have in this multicultural democracy, and see how better it is over where it started. It's better. We need to understand that we still got some corrections to do. We got to make amends to the Native Americans for what they was pushed at in the development of this nation. We need to make amends for the African American, but we don't need. It's not going to take that much to make amends. Just follow the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag for me. I think that was the changing point for every veteran. Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, standing out there for reveille. You know you had to be dressed right. You couldn't come out there with your pants out. You had to be shaved and ready for duty. That was a good experience. And to pledge allegiance to the flag. We knew that we didn't have one nation under God, individual, we're living in justice for all, but we knew and believed that it was possible. We had a faith that we worked on it. We worked on it till we could say President Barack Obama. What an awesome God we serve. We cannot overlook where we at and look up to what we had to overcome and not have a sense of divine, Tony would call it, say it was divinely inspired, that we be here in America. That we be a part of the fiber of this country that's developing to be, we got to make some adjustments for immigrants. We have come up with policies that making them set at the border when we promised them, if you got problems in your own homeland, if you are in danger in your own homeland, come to this country, come to freedom. Then they get to the gates of freedom, and we got another story to tell because of greed and selfishness. Not because we don't have plenty for them. We got people in this country that got, one person I know that got houses in 8 different states. Oprah Winfrey. I'm going to just talk about it. I don't know how many houses Tyler Perry got in different states. But these are just examples that But you got other people like Ted Turner. Houses all over everywhere. And then you got people downtown homeless. Something wrong with that picture. It is wrong in the eyes of God. And this is why the storms are tearing us up. This is why we got to look to a higher sense of ourselves to survive what we'll come up against. It's not a lack in the United States that we have that's causing the problem. It is a greed and a lack of morality that has developed and overcome the mindset and the hearts of the people. But my faith say all we got to do is repent, turn away from the way we treat each other, all the bad stuff that we doing, turn back to the ways that was set out in the Holy Bible, and God Himself will heal the nation, will heal the land. In other words, will heal the heart, change our mindset, change the way we treat each other, change the way we greet each other. I'm looking in my community where I have this son. Well, let me just salute my grandson that's in the U.S. military. Then I'm gonna talk about the one that's not on want to salute all the young men, all the young women today that's serving in this country. Keep on doing what you're doing. You know, keep on believing what you're believing. Because you are living in the most integrated, most diverse part of our society today. And you're the most functional. And you treat each other better than any other part of our society today. So I want to salute you, and I wish people could see the example. The rest of us can see the example. How this multiracial military force get along and perform at the highest possible level that they do, and you do. And a lot of people need to understand it's more than a war machine, but you are a war machine that got to be reckoned with it all over the world. But you are the first responders to natural disasters and, you know, and human-made disasters too, all over the world. So I want to salute you. Now I'm getting to my grandson that ain't in the military. Caught up in cultural confusion. Cultural confusion. Who don't understand they understand the economy, but they don't understand the laws that govern the economy. So they look for shortcuts and immediate remedies to old injustices, when we need to work those old injustices out as a community. You know, it's not one person that caused the civil rights laws to change. It was a whole movement. Dr. King was just one of the leaders. It was multiple leaders. I talked about Jose. I talked about Charles Rangel. All across this nation, people had the same mindset, and changes came. Now people are upset with the changes. That's just all I can say about it. They're upset with the changes, and they will do anything, including lie, mislead you, undermine you, say the elections are rigged, say the election was unfair, cause doubt where anybody that don't know no better will doubt. And I see my grandson that's not in the military having all kind of doubts and struggling with this economy. And it hurts me because he's smart. He's just as smart as the one in the military, and he's just as good as the one. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just talking about the different mindsets that are being developed in our community that's causing our people not to pursue the opportunities that we have in this country. And then when I say opportunity, we can stop the people from oppressing us. Just stop cooperating with them. Dr. King was the best. Wait a minute. Let me back up. Dr. King was the best at that. Malcolm told us some stuff though. When he was talking about integration, he was scared that we would assimilate and start, you know, acting like the master, acting like the oppressor. And there's too much of that going on. That's too true about too many of us. We got stuff, but then we start looking back at those that don't have and start saying they need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and not looking down. They ain't got no boots. They're barefooted. They don't have the stuff that you have. They were not able, for whatever reason, to take advantage of the opportunities that you did. That don't make them any lesser. What they need to do is reach back at them. We are our brother's keeper. I love my organization, Vietnam Veterans of America, even though we were considered radicals in the community, but we have this motto: never, never again will one generation of veterans abandon a nation. So we look at Vietnam veterans as the point men for this change. We integrated the U.S. military. That means we was the first integrators of this country. Fully integrated, the U.S. military. Look at it. Nobody can deny the diversity that you see in the U.S. military. And nobody can deny how well they get along. You know, I know there's still some racism there, but 80% is working like a clock. Them young people are doing what we need to be doing in the rest of society. And then in the rest of government. See, one of the things that we learned in the U.S. military, some people ain't fit to serve. We need to be getting ready for the next election. We need to be vetting people that's in office now. Calling them out. We got some issues. Let's see how they're going to deal with them. We know the PAC Act needs to be amended. We're going to see who's going to amend it. And that would determine how you should vote the next time around. Because if we got such a beautiful system, if the ones that are serving don't serve right, we got the possibility, we can find them. We can get rid of them out of our governments with the vote. So we need to spend the rest of the, going up to 2023, we need to be educating the community. We need to be encouraging the community. We need to be motivating the community. And we need to be working in the community to make the changes that we want to see. We can be the changes that we are. I'll tell you my story one day, but I tell you how you can do it. Read Short Change, Memoirs of an American Combat Veteran, and you will see the power of change. How we can go through something that's so horrendous that it's unbelievable. The world say it's impossible for you to overcome, but you overcome it anyway. All I can say is what an awesome God we serve, and what an awesome country we have. We have the best country on planet Earth. If it wasn't that good, why would so many people want to come here? It's a safe haven. It's a refuge, and it's a big PX, what we used to call it. And we want to get back to the big PX because we knew what we had and the opportunities that we had to be a part of it, to embrace it, to take it and say, this is my country, my community. I represent these folks. I represent this idea. I would die for this country. That's what 58,000 of my peers said and done. So I cannot forget, and I will represent to the day I die. I want you to go to sonsofAtlanta.org, sonsofAtlanta.org, and look at the faces. 240 plus young men from my hometown who paid the ultimate price for the freedoms that we have in this country every day. Help us put this memorial in Piedmont Park for them and for you, so you can be reminded forever what you have gained, what you have to work with. And you don't have to be selfish. We don't have to be afraid of each other. We have to learn to live together, learn together, and serve together for this common idea. That was what I learned, and what the 58,000 veterans learned that were killed in Vietnam, and there are over 3 million that served. A large portion of those have died because of, and as a result of their service in Vietnam, because of Agent Orange exposure. And we're still dealing with that. The Congress still haven't come up and dealt with that issue right yet. PAC Act is a good step in the right direction, because not only it covered Agent Orange, it covered burn pits, it covered exposure to radiation and contaminations. And over 200 military bases are still contaminated in this country today. We don't know to what extent those young people that are serving now will be sick. We need to change some of the things that we do. Vietnam Veterans of America has been on the front line since 1978. When former Senator Kerry, John Kerry, came back from Vietnam and started this organization. Now we got chapters in every state of the union, 17 in the state of Georgia. I'll be with 17 next weekend. We're here to serve the community. We're in the community to make a better community. VSOs are an asset to the community because they're there to help veterans get their benefits back into the community where they live at. I'm so excited about Fulton County. I want to shout out Fulton County, Georgia, and all of the commissioners for taking this year to make it the first year for the Veteran Service Program in Fulton County, and putting out $1 million in the community for these programs. Now, we want to check them vendors, all them people that got that money. We want to see what you did. We want to look at what impact you had, what difference you make, because see, we want Fulton County to keep putting the money out there, but we want to make sure that we have some results with the money that matters. We're not talking about increasing salaries, increasing assets of an organization. We're talking about addressing the basic issue of homelessness in Fulton County. We have the capacity, with all the resources that we have in Fulton County, Atlanta, and the VA, we should not have any homeless people, period, especially homeless veterans, going into 2024. And that's my target for 2023, is to work every day to make sure that we eliminate homelessness, getting all the people off the streets and out from under the bridges in my hometown. We don't need to see it, we don't need to be it. We need to make sure we got the resources. But the way we allow these resources to perform is wasteful. Just wasteful. You shouldn't have any organization getting $25 million to do homeless programs, and they got less than 3,000 homeless people on the streets every day in Atlanta. 25 million, and they ain't got them off the street. Somebody need to be talking to somebody, and they need to be talking to the politicians that we elected. We can stop some of this stuff by focusing on the morality and functionality of our communities. We got to stop following the greedy and look at the needy and see why we got all of this need, all of this graft, all of these problems when we got the resources to solve them. We should not be putting our police officers in danger every day by having automatic weapons in the streets of America. That is crazy. And the police won't speak up for it because, their jobs are at stake. They got to follow the politicians that put the money, so that they're putting the money where they can feed their families every day. So they're not going to stand up and say, I'm not going out there and face that automatic weapon. They're not going to do it. They're going out there because they got to provide for their family, and they want to say they want to provide for the community. But should we be sacrificing them like that? This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing. But it's a thing we want you to tune into every Saturday afternoon, because we are here doing the same thing that we've been trying to do ever since we started this show, is to make sense out of a senseless situation. Because it's senseless to me that 22 veterans are committing suicide every day in this country, and we don't have it as a national crisis. Why? Why are we not looking at these problems that we have a solution for? We're not going to be able to stop everybody from committing suicide, but 22 a day? That's crisis. That's stuff that we should throw the military at. I'm serious. We need to stop talking about it at the VA and DOD and put action into the community to stop this. Put help into the homes where these veterans are at, so that their families can help them with these problems before they commit suicide. We got the solutions. We just got to have the heart to practice the solutions, to put them in the face. We got to get over greed and look at need. We got to get away from the people that are telling us what we can't do and get with the people that are telling us what we can do. We got to have faith and work. If we got faith without work, then that's your dead faith. So you got to put your faith to work. And we need to put the work today, start today. And I want you to start today by going to Sons of Atlanta. Sons of Atlanta, just look at what we're doing with this project. Because we want every county in the state to mimic us. We want every state in the country to mimic what we're doing. Because what we're doing is going to make a difference in everybody's lives. We're going to improve the quality of our community. Veterans Talk. See you next week. Same time. My partner will be back next week. We're going to be deep into you with this memorial. So see you next week. Be safe and stay out of the cold.